Well, wouldn't you know it, I did a flash video about the film, and then suddenly there's more news about it. Because I'm still in the aftermath of Hurricane Laura, I did not know that there was yet another DC fandom. And so there's a little more news coming out of that. I just, a couple hours ago, as I'm recording this, got power back. So I have lights and all that. Still in a bit of disarray and a mess here, so it'll take a while before the videos get back to the way they were, but, well, that's the update on that. So, the Machetes, or Machetes, I don't know how it's pronounced, but a brother and sister team, so the sister revealed, that pretty much, yes, it's going to be the restart or redo of everything. Everything will change, but it will forget nothing. Well, that's easily a reference to Multiverse. So when you do Multiverse, even though you're kind of changing the course of your franchise or what have you, you know, all the other versions still exist in their own universes and timelines and what have you. So this is going to be a strange thing for them to weave. Not entirely where their direction goes, but there's all kinds of guesses and apparent rumors about how it's supposed to happen. So I read both articles mentioning this from Cosmic Book News and Bounding into Comics. And Bounding into Comics refers to Mikey Sutton and his Geekosity site and all that. And Mikey Sutton gets quite a few scoops here and there, and for the most part, it turns out to be fairly accurate. So, the idea, Wonder Woman apparently now, yes, will be in it, and apparently also will be Aquaman. So, a reunion of Justice League of sorts, the original lineup, will be there, and perhaps even more members will be shown. We're going to get quite the magical mystery tour as Barry Allen guides us through the multiverse. And we'll probably see scenes from other movies, probably have some footage of Christopher Reeve's Superman or something like that, like he's traveling through the Speed Force and might see that. Stuff like that, and then actually meet Michael Keaton's Batman. And that sort of thing. And of course, Ben Affleck was already confirmed to be in it, so this will probably, and I'm sad to say, yeah, this is what's the real downer about it, is that this is probably his goodbye to the role. Because in this Bounding into Comics article, is according to Sutton's sources, is that there may still be talks for him to direct his version of Batman, but he would not be that Batman. And that story about Batman versus Deathstroke and all that. So, could still happen, but it would be another Batman. So does that mean we'll get, like I suspected there might be, yet another Batman introduced in this film? Or will they finally just go ahead and say, no, Robert Pattinson is the new Batman? From all accounts, the Pattinson film is going off on its own world, and they will not have anything connected to that, but that could just be a lie, or they can change it after the fact, which is one of the things they did with Snyder, and I don't advise that. If you intend for him to be in the same world with these other superheroes, that decision should have been made some time ago, and Matt Reeves should be very well aware of that before he got started. Well, you know, I know they've had all these interruptions, but he's got 25% of the film shot, and to suddenly tell him that, well, he's going to be the main Batman and we want him interacting with Wonder Woman and Superman and all that, well, he needed to know that before they started shooting. So, you know, I'm a little concerned about things like that, but that could very well be what they're going to do, because apparently Sutton heard that AT&T really would like an idea of a world's finest film, teaming up Pattinson's Batman with Henry Cavill's Superman, and making it a more friendlier relationship. Now, they could have done that with Affleck and Cavill Superman, because after Dawn of Justice, that whole being at odds came to an end there. And actually, at his death, you know, that Bruce Wayne was realizing he was wrong about him, and now he's kind of guilt-ridden, and that's kind of what his motivation is going into Justice League and all that. So, you know, if they revived him and all that, you could have had this team up with Batman and Superman in a much more friendlier atmosphere. But boy, it's a lot of films, and there's only so much time. So how much of this can you do? Unless they're going to go the miniseries route again for HBO Max, don't know. But so it looks like Pattinson's Batman will be the official Batman going forward, and this reboot or rebirth, as it was in the comics, could be where they're going with it, and all that. And the fact that it plays into Flashpoint, which was a Jeff Johns script, and plays into Rebirth, which was Jeff Johns, that might have something to do with Ray Fisher being upset all the time, because he just does not like the man. Well, should they want to, they can reboot that too. So I don't know. But a lot of this, they try to keep it clamped down about where their plans go, and how much of this could be leaked to people to throw them off. I don't know. But overall, yes, I expect a full reunion of the Justice League, if only in cameos here and there, in the Flashpoint film, plus other things. Like I said, they could reuse footage from old films. The Supergirl film, maybe from the TV shows, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman might appear in a little, as he's going through the Speed Force, that type of thing. May even meet Grant Gustin again, who knows? And all of that, and then come to this new, redone DC universe that goes forward. Now, coming out of the Shazam films and Black Adam, the Justice Society will be introduced, and so there's talks of the crossovers with them and the Justice League, which is a nod to DC Comics. And all that's nice and good, and it's good that they're referring to their material and making use of it and adapting it for their films, and all that could turn out well. It's just things here and there. Yeah, I really was hoping at least the Batman versus Deathstroke thing, and just keep it as, yes, it's the alternate thing, it's only on HBO Max, and Robert Pattinson goes on with his trilogy of Batman solving murder mysteries or whatever, and all that. But now it was just kind of odd, the way his Batman is set is very similar, and I always thought it was kind of going backwards, except for the mystery thing, which was long overdue. They could have done that with Affleck as well, but it looks more like where the 90s was and where the Nolan films were about Batman, and he looks more like a loner character and not in a DC universe of the comic book Batman, and in that environment where he's solving serial killer murders and that sort of thing. I don't know how that would he really fit in the DCEU, but there again, maybe they're going to hire somebody else. And Green Lantern will get there. Previously, there was this idea for a buddy cop type Green Lantern movie, which I thought was a really good idea. That basically an older Hal Jordan would train a John Stewart as a new Green Lantern, and John Stewart would sort of take over from it. He would either die or he would go into space, and John Stewart would be on Earth and join the Justice League and all this type of stuff. But now, it looks like they're going to do the reverse of that. And so John Stewart will be the Green Lantern, so they can make it look more like the popular cartoon series. And that Hal Jordan, I guess, would be some young guy who takes... it's kind of odd because the story doesn't quite work the way it was with Hal Jordan not being the first Lantern, at least as far as Earth goes. I don't know how they're going to merge that with Alan Scott having been Green Lantern in the original Justice Society that's supposed to fight Black Adam and all that stuff. Boy, it's a man. But then again, if they're going to follow Multiverse and whatnot, then they may have it where this is on another Earth. And that's kind of odd, seeing as how Shazam clearly seemed to present itself on the same in the DCEU. Where Superman was there, we didn't see his head. The costume looked a little different, had some red trim on the belt, so maybe that's to insinuate, this is an alternate universe Superman. So it's not the Cavill Superman. I suppose they could do that. And we'll find out that, Shazam's, which is the way it originally was way back when there was, the DC Comics had its multiverse, and the Shazam family was, on their own Earth, and then the Justice Society was on yet another Earth, and so on and so forth. And they might do that, but in this version, you know, Justice Society will be on the Shazam world and all that. But then again, they would have their own Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. All those people were referred to, and Aquaman and everything in that movie. So, boy, it'll be interesting to see how they weave that out. But so yes, some sort of reboot will happen, and it will change how things go forward. What does it erase exactly? Well, let's hope it establishes that the Snyder Cut was real and the theatrical release was, well, that's some other timeline. Yes, it happened differently there. I don't know. And going forward, where will they present this? What is the theater situation and all of that? Wonder Woman keeps getting different release dates and all that. It's still a big of a mess, and it's very difficult to figure out what kind of plans you will do if this just goes direct to HBO Max. Then this could just be their DCEU the series, and and they're just films on there, which in a lot of ways be fine with me. That'd be some cool TV series of a movie budget type expenditure on these stories. But anyway, there you go. So yes, I'm thinking more that the possibility is now that yes, Ben Affleck will be Batman at the beginning, and at the end, Barry Allen comes up to Batman. He turns around and it's Robert Pattinson. Hopefully in a better suit. I don't like the suit he's in. If that's actually his early days, which it is, of course, but I mean, meaning that it's a work in progress and he'll get to the more comic book and accurate Batman suit that Affleck had. That one, and then we'll see how that works. Maybe that'll work better. But anyway, so there you go. Definitely a DCEU reboot coming to maybe a theater near you or perhaps a streaming service, but definitely coming.